design this very simple kind of minimalist website that has just got the text, but this thing is using a lot of things like the CSS grid, flexbox, font awesome, and Google fonts. Like those things, I mean, they look amazing. Just ignore this icon, this has not loaded properly. I will take care of that as well, because this is one of the problems that you will face along, and you will solve that. So what we have here, a kind of name, a logo. Then we have a kind of bar where we put this navigation links. Then we have the search area where we are going to design this as well, because this is a kind of complicated thing that you will have problems initially. Okay, and then we have these kind of simple things, and the layout looks like a kind of newspaper layout, and you will need to do these kind of things. Then it got just a footer, a simple kind of footer. So we are going to the desktop. I already have done this website. Instead of creating like along with you, that is not a good thing, but I am going to create it one more time. Okay, so what I did, I just duplicated the folder, so I have the access to the images. I do not have any images inside, but it's a good practice to put the image folder. I mean, if I'm going to use some image folder, and then we have the CSS folder, and inside the CSS folder we have font awesome. I mean, I have made a tutorial on how to use font awesome in your inside your HTML project, so you can just check out that, and it's pretty easy. Okay, so inside this CSS folder we have got all the CSS files. Now what we need to do, we need to go to this code editor. I'm using VS Code, Visual Studio Code, the best. Okay, and just press command and control and our file new, then save this and save it on the same place where we are going to create the website. So here we are going to create it. We are going to call it index, or you could call it anything, but you have to put .html. That is important. Now create one more file, command and control, and or just go to file and all that. Now save it once again. Now we need to save it inside the CSS folder, because that is the good thing. That's how we do it. Now we need to create the HTML file. Just press shift, then one or exclamation mark, press enter or tab, and this bare bones have come up. You have to install these extensions. I mean, just type HTML over here, and it will suggest you all the things that you will need to do. Document, we need to call it maybe text text, and now I will show you where this text is going, where what we just wrote. This is what is happening here. And guys, I make a lot of more websites. I mean, you can just check out those tutorials. They are here only, and I upload them to GitHub, so you can see the live version as well of those websites. Now we need to attach the CSS file. How? By creating a link, and then where is that CSS file? Inside the CSS folder, and inside that we have the style.css. Okay, and now we need to link that font awesome as well. Just put the link. Where is that? Inside CSS folder we have folder called far. Inside we have another folder called CSS. Inside that we have all.min.css. We have a lot more files, but we are going to use this because this is what we need. This is compressed file. All.min means it is compressed, like all the white space has been. I will just show you. I mean, that may waste your time, but you should know. Like, you see, this is compressed, so it loads very fast. Now this part is done. Now what we need to do, we need to go to the body, and first we are going to create the header. Header is given by the HTML, so we are not going to use divs here, and I'm going to give it a class name of header. What just happened? Why? Okay, head or header. Dot means I'm giving it a class. Instead of writing class then equal and all those, this is smart thing. This is how you do. First we are going to create h1 hash. Hash means it is an id. It's going to be an id of h1, and we are going to call it, maybe, what's the name? Text web. Oh, I mean, just it could be anything. Okay, then we are going to create the snaps, and we are going to call it link. Links. Fine, it's okay. And inside this we are going to create some a tags, and we are going to give them class nlinks. Nlinks mean nav links, and where we are taking them, href. We could take them to bing.com, google.com, facebook.com, but we are taking nowhere, so putting just hash mark disables that. And now we need to call it maybe home. Yeah, that's okay. Duplicate this by pressing shift alt or option down arrow, and call this about. Duplicate it one more time. How about services? And one more time, maybe there could be a blog, and one more time, what's that? And just the contact. That's done. Now we need to attach that thing called search bar. So we are going to create a section or div. How about section? Section dot search SARCH. Now this will create a section of, and it will have, what is the problem, SCCTION section dot SEARCH, enter, and it is here. Now what we need to put two things inside this. One is an input. Just press the enter, and now give it some id or class. We will give it a class of what should be that, type. Yeah, type is okay. And we need to put a placeholder as well. What should be that? SERC search. That is all right. And inside, underneath, we need to put this I tag. That is for the icon. So for dash, am I making that up? No. You go to Phone Awesome website. Where is that Phone Awesome website? And you look for search. That may take some time. Here is one for the search. You see, I mean, it's easy. It's no magic happening. It's all already done. Okay, so you just have to use the fonts instead of using images for your this, what you call, fonts or icons. Yeah, here is that. If I press on this, that is indeed wasting my time. But what can we do? We have to know what we are doing instead of just guessing it. Anyway, it's happening in the background. I will just come back and do things over here. I think this is taken care of. If I come back to the browser and upload the website now, you see that search has shown, but that icon is not showing up. That we need to take care of. What is the problem? FAS, if we put FAS means Phone Awesome simple, FAR means phone. So it is FAS, it is not FAR. Phone Awesome simple. So here, instead of writing that, I will just put this. And now if I come back to the page where we are working, now you see this thing is working. So we are going to style the header first, and you are at a place where we have created something very simple. Now we need to style it. Just go to the css file. First of all, do this thing, put this star and then this, then padding, because we want to remove all the padding and margin given by the browser, because browsers have some default margin and paddings, and that makes website very difficult to handle. I mean, we never know what's happening, so we remove them all together. So first of all, we need to create the canvas mean where we are working. So we are going to access the body. We do not have to give any class or id to the body because that is understood by the css. So give it a width, maybe 100%, and instead of giving 100%, we are giving 100 vw, means view width, whatever it is. Height, hover, automatic. I mean, let it take care of itself. We do not have to give it anything. So now we are going to access the header. We created the header and we gave it a class of header, so we are using that here. Let's give it a width. Instead of giving that 100%, we are going to give it 80%. And height should be, how about 100 pixels? That makes sense. Yeah. And what else we need? Maybe we give it a border at the bottom. I mean, you can try just all the things. It has 1 pixel solid, and it should be a kind of subtle light color, so we are using that color. And what else we need? We need to put those things, align them nicely. So we are going to use flex, display flex. Is it so? Yes, it is happening. Now what we need to put things in the center. So that is, first of all, let's use the flex, justify content space, what is that, space between. Now just look here, things are gone like that, but they are not in the center. So we have to do one thing, align items center. That's all, but they are not in the vertical center. What is this in the column. This is horizontal, this is vertical. They should be vertically centered, horizontally centered. So we are going to use margin here, margin. At top we need nothing, so 0%, and then auto will put it in the dead center of the page. That is happening now. Now we need to style the search bar, SERC search. Let's give it a background of, I mean, that's just for seeing like it's happening, something is there. We will remove that, but search is, no, that's not happening. Let's remove that background. Let's give it a border, 1 pixel solid black, and we need to give it some padding, maybe 8 pixels. I mean, this is just for fun. And now I think, is it working fine? Yes, now it is. Now the input, we created a class for the input. What was that? Where is that? Where is that? Here is that type. This input area has a class type of type. I mean, I gave it, it is not given. We are going to remove the border because that's looking not good over there. Come back, that is gone. Now all the things align properly. If they are not, we can take care of them as well. Now we need to change the size of this search. So how we access that? Double dot, then place hold, then this, then font size, maybe 1.2 ems. How about that? That will make it big a bit. That's looking nice, and color is okay. Now what we need to, we need to change the color of this icon. I think that is not aligned in the center. Why don't we do that? And here is that. If we, I mean, we can use flex here as well. There is no limitation. So justify content, space between, and align items, center. How about this? It's working fine. And now we need to give it border radius, maybe 8 pixels. I'm giving it to the whole body here, which is containing these two things. One is input and other is the icon. Icon, does it have a class? It has oh, instead of giving it a class, we will use a smart thing, that is inside search, whatever thing that is I mean that is an icon. We are going to reduce its opacity by how much? Maybe half. Now it's not looking that bright. So also we need to change this very sharp color to maybe some kind of light shade. Has it happened? There is not much difference. We still need to work on it. Let's try that. I think that has worked, and this area is taken care of. And now we need to style this thing, link. How about links? I mean, that makes sense. And now style the links, L-I, L-I-N-K-S, links. Now what we are going to give it, we are not accessing this, we are accessing n links. I mean, the individual links, they have a class of n links. I mean, I have given them a class. If I had not given them a class, then I could do it like this as well. And now I get the style, but I have given them a class. Let's make things easy for us. Okay, now they need some space. They are not spaced out. So what we do, we give some padding. How much? Maybe 20 pixels. Always use even numbers in web, never use odd numbers. Has it worked? It has not worked because it is not a links, it's n links. That is okay, but 20 is looking a bit less, maybe 24. They have an underline which is not looking good. We need to remove that as well. So that is text decoration, and we are going to make it none. That's okay. The font is a bit small. We need to make that bigger as well. So font size maybe 1.2 ems. You could write 16 pixels, 18 pixels, 14 pixels, like that. We will change the font size as well. I think the color is okay. Now we need to go to the main section. Have we created the main section yet? We have not. Underneath this header, we will create main. It is given by the HTML itself, so we are not making it up. We are just giving it a class name of main for our convenience. So inside this, now we need to create a div for what? Div for content. We would like call it container as well. So, and inside this we need two places. Okay, come back to this website and see here. Where is that? Here, these has two sections, a left side and right side. So we need to create those things. So we will create two sections, sectin section dot left, and we need to create one sectin section dot right right. So inside this left section, we are going to create one box, and let's call that L1, left one. that should be a that could be a div. So L1, we created a div with the L1. Now it needs text, so S2, let's give it an idea of title, 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 and maybe call it text based website. Looks nice. And underneath this we need some text, so p dot l text txt, and inside this just put lorem, maybe 40 or 60, and it has typed itself. I do not have to do this thing. Okay, now this is taken care of. Now underneath this we need to create that area for the social icons, and here we are going to use that. I think again I will create that here instead of going and copying this. I know how these what these things are. Instagram, we need to duplicate this, and here we are going to call it Instagram, then maybe Twitter. Yeah, and it's underneath we may use Facebook. That's okay, and we may create one for the hurt. Yeah, I think that's okay. HEART, hurt, and it is not FAB, it is R. R means font awesome regular. I just created that, and now we need to duplicate this. But first we are going to go inside the right section and create one here as well. So I think we need same things here as well, so we will just copy this thing from here and come here. I mean the s2 tag, there is no problem, just use that. I mean, let's see that if that work or not. But first of all we will come over here, and inside the main section we have this content, content. This is a div, and now we are going to call that magic thing that css has given, that is css grid. But we need to create grid template columns. So the first part should take more area. That is one fr, I mean 2 fr, two parts. It should take 2 part. You see, it is just happening. Now we need one more thing, that is column gap, column, column gap. The grid gap is out now, that doesn't exist. Either you have to use gap or column gap or row gap, maybe 5%. I mean there should be a gap between them, they are attaching each other. So main should have a width as well. Where is this main section? Have we accessed that or not yet? We are going to access the main here, dot main, and should have a width. Its width should be 90 VW, and its height should be automatic. Let's see that if that work or not. That is working, but we need to give it a margin as well to put the things in the center. Margin at maybe 2%, and then auto to put the things in the dead center of the website. That's happening now. Now we need to, I think on the right side we do not need this much text. This is the right side. Okay, so we are going to remove a lot of that, 2 3. I think that much is okay. Anyway, you can ignore the text, that is looking not good now. Now we need to give one more thing, that is these title. Title has an id, so let's access that. title title, and what is that? I think it's ltxt, that is a class. Why don't we give them margin? Let's try if this work or not. Margin at the bottom should be 5%. I mean, why not use this thing? Okay, this is happening now, but this thing has gone too far, maybe 4%. I mean, we could do it individually, but using classes and IDs, you can do this thing at once. And now this social icons are like they are attacking each other. Why don't we give them some space? Where are they? Here they are inside the social. Inside social, why don't we use some social social, then I, then padding on the right side, maybe how about 20 pixels? Is that working? That is working. All right, and now we just need to duplicate them, and I think this thing over here is not looking well. We need to copy some lorem ipsum over here so that it doesn't look that bad. And let's save it now and come back. That's looking fine. We just now just need to duplicate them. Here is the right section, so we need to duplicate this, maybe 2, 3, 4. How about this? They will be taken care of automatically. Now we need to do one more thing, that is the L1. L1 here needs a margin at the bottom as well, so we are going here, L1 margin at the bottom, maybe 4%. I have used 5% somewhere. That is a bad practice. Don't use that. I mean, I never use odd numbers in web. It's this easy, guys. I mean, you could put images and all those things over here, and it could look fine. Now this space is too much over here. We do not want that, so we are going to remove this thing from here. Now dot ltxt margin at the bottom should be 2%, I think, or maybe 3%. That looks a bit genuine. Okay, and same thing with the right section. If we come to the right section, uh, right, why just we have one element over here, clause right? I mean, this is not good. This will not be good, I think. Why? Because, okay, let's come back over here. What does it have? Inside the main section we have the content, and then we have this left, and this is right. Now inside this we need to create R1. I mean, it should be a div. Yes, now inside this we should have these things, and I think we have a button as well over here. So buttn button dot rbtn r button, and we would read more, and if I now I can duplicate this few times. How about 3 times? And let's see if that work or not. That is working. Now the R1 needs a margin at the bottom. Guys, is it making sense to you? I am rushing, but you have to make sense. Okay, you do not have to like complete the tutorial. You have to understand. I'm using some smart things in HTML and CSS to make a very simple thing. I'm using CSS grid and this thing, what is called CSS grid, flexbox, font awesome, and all those things. They are looking nice. They are great thing. I mean, if you are making websites these days, you have to use them. The thing over, I think the header is bit narrow. Why is that 80? Why don't we make it 90? That's making sense now. And what else we need? We need to style the button. I think that name of the button is rbtn. I may be rushing. I'm sorry, guys, but trust me, you have to make sense. Yeah, height maybe, how about 36 pixels, and it could have some padding also, maybe 4 pixels, and it doesn't need a border none, and but we need border radius because we want to make this a rounded kind of 8 pixels. We have given it a background. Now we have not given it a background yet, so background maybe blue. How about a kind of subtle blue, not the dark blue? We need to change the color of the text as well inside this button, so that should be maybe white, FFF. And the font size of that text font size should be maybe 1.2 m or 1 m, or you could write 16 pixels, 18 pixels, and whatever you like. The button is showing up there, but this button needs a margin at top. Margin at top maybe 2%, and we do not like this color. We are going to use kind of subtle green color. That's making some sense. And now we need to change the font. We are not liking this font, so go to Google Fonts. I mean, search for Google Fonts. That's what is used on the web these days. What is the time now? It's about to 7. I will try to complete it before that. Let's use railway. No, we are going to use a roboto. I have already selected it, guys. Okay, how you do it? Just press on this plus icon, and this thing will be highlighted. And now we want to use this font inside CSS via CSS. Click on this import, then just copy this, not those style lines. Go to your CSS file, and at the top of the CSS file, above even this, give some space, then paste this. Now the font is access. Now you need to copy this font family. Since we are giving it to the whole body, so we are putting it the body itself. So if I come back now, font is changed. It's that easy. Now what we need a footer. Footer is simple. I mean, it's the simplest thing you can do inside a website. Come outside main. Now the main is done. Just create footer. Footer is given by the HTML itself, and we are giving it a class of footer itself. Inside this, maybe create a p class and have a good day. Good day. Save it and come to CSS. Now we need to style the footer. Footer. It needs a width. WIDT is width. How about 100%? And it needs a height as well. I think maybe HEIGST height. How about 120 pixels? That's okay. It needs a background color. Indeed, kind of blue, and I don't like kind of bright blue, so I will put a kind of subtle blue. And the color of things inside this, just put COL or color, and it should be maybe white or maybe kind of azure. It's still white, okay. And now what else we need? We need to give it some what's we need to put the text in the center, so that is text align, that is center. Now the text will be centered but not at the vertical center. How we do that? We use line height. We could use that in flex here as well, but that will be too much, okay. That is like going to the extremes. Use the things given by them. Now we need to give it some margin at the top, so it's not touching that content above, maybe 10%. How about this? Yeah, it has got. Now you can just I think this thing at the main at the top is touching. So how about 6%? So it is spaced out. Yeah, it is spaced out. Now things are looking fine. I mean, this is a search area where you search, and here is some, you can put the images, here is some text images and all those things. I mean, a complete website is in front of you, and you just did it so easily using flexbox, CSS grid, and some easy things in the CSS, and you use some fonts as well. And hope this is helpful. It's making some sense. Do ask me questions if you have some confusions. I mean, I know how things work, and I can pretty much guide you on the right path. So guys, have a great day. Okay.